I knew there were thousands, millions of donors out there, millions of people who had decided to save lives, make that promise of life when they pass, give eyesight to the blind, tendons, skin. Old skin's much better for burn victims because it doesn't snap back like young skin. So never think you're too old to do this. And yeah, you can always recycle. And because it's the ultimate recycling, really.
Okay, boomer. Okay, boomer. Okay, boomer. Okay, boomer. Okay, boomer. Why aren't you an organ donor? If you are an organ donor, then thank you. Thank you for the gift of life. And share this episode with someone who's not a donor. If you're not an organ donor, I'm curious. Why not? I know most of my listeners, and I know you to be good people, people who are interested in helping others, people who are routinely generous and thoughtful. Why not make the ultimate gift of life? It won't cost you a darn thing except a few moments it takes for you to sign up. Please, listen to what Jaime Alcroft, former professional comedian and founder of Laugh for Life, has to say about the wonder of organ donors. You'll laugh, be amazed, and learn how to score free tickets to see a professional comedian. I don't think I've had a more important subject on this podcast. Okay, Boomer. Okay, Boomer is going to welcome James Alcroft back. It's almost been 4 years since we last spoke, Jaime. I looked at that of September of 2022. I'm like, really? That long
Cool.
ago?
Yeah, it's when Phil and I were doing Boomers on a Bench. When Phil Proctor
Uh,
and I were doing Boomers on a Bench. Remember that? Phil
I I
from
remember
Firesign, Phil from Firesign Theater.
I
He's
remember
my
a number of things.
best friend out here and my writing partner. And we did about 100 episodes on YouTube of a thing called Boomers on a Bench. Just
Nice.
crazy stuff.
Well, we had great fun talking about your long career as a comedian and entertainer. You were one half of the Mac and Jamie comedy duo that was
I
spotlight.
was.
You were spotlighted on the Tonight Show by both Johnny Carson and Jay Leno, and I'm sure you performed all over America and probably got out of America, maybe.
Oh yeah, we toured with Diana Ross for 7 years, and she took us across the seas, and then we used to get gigs in Hawaii and Tahiti and Australia. Our TV
Fantastic.
show was on Australian TV for 5 years, so we did pretty well over there with concerts.
Fantastic. Very
Yeah.
good. Well, I encourage our listeners to go back and listen to those episodes of September 2022 where we dived deep into your career and touched upon a topic that we're going to focus on today. Nowadays, your focus is encouraging people to see other comedians live on stage in an effort to save lives. It's something that's called Laugh for Life. Tell us about it.
Well, I had congestive heart failure in 2017, which necessitated me getting a heart transplant.
Wow.
And so I got a heart and liver transplant. I'd had a bad heart for about 12 years and it beat up on my liver. So I needed two organs, heart and liver. I got them both from the same donor.
Wow.
And I thank my donor every day because I'm here. I get to meet my grandchildren. I would have never been able to see my daughter, Haley Kiyoko, uh, write and direct a feature film that's coming out June 19th called Girls Like Girls. And I would never been able to just enjoy being with my wife as much as I have been in these 8 years had it not been for that donor. So I was told he was killed in a motorcycle accident. I'll tell you a little more about that later. But I was frustrated because I knew there were thousands, millions of donors out there, millions of people who had decided to save lives, make that promise of life when they pass, give eyesight to the blind, tendons, skin. Old skin's much better for burn victims because it doesn't snap back like young skin. So never think you're too old to do this. And Yeah, you can always recycle, always recycle. And because
I,
it's the ultimate recycling, really.
it
It's the
sure
human
is.
family. It's just an amazing, not only an amazing experience to receive organs, but it's an amazing experience to be around the organ donor community. And I was aware of the fact that all these people are out there that had signed up to be organ donors when they got their license or through a change of conscience or whatever. And nobody was thanking them. Nobody was saying, hey, thank you for the promise of life. So I thought, how am I going to do this? So for 10 months at the Comedy Magic Club in Hermosa Beach, thanks to Mike Lacey um, and Rich Barrett, we uh, did an experiment. And the first Thursday of every month was free to registered organ donors. Well, over 10 months, we showed that we averaged 50 extra people per show. So all of a
Awesome.
sudden, I realized not only am I going to be saving lives by encouraging donorship within the comedy community, but I'm also going to be providing audience for the clubs.
You betcha.
So I thought, hey, I've got proof of concept here. I went to my friend Aaron at the Improv and I said, you've got 14 clubs across the country. What do you say we start a program together and save some lives? And she said, I'm all for it. So we're now in the 14 improvs across the country. I want to get in the giggles. I want to get in the funny bones. I want to get in the punchlines. I want all the comedy clubs across America to offer free admission for registered organ donors. What that does is puts more people in the audience, so it makes it a better show for the comedians
You
and a
bet.
better show for the rest of the audience.
Uh huh.
It also gets the conversation started about donorship because we have, it's not advertising so much as it is promotions in the clubs. So when people are in the improvs, they know that it's a donor night and that there are people that have gotten in for free because they've chosen the promise of life. Um, it's really it's so cool. I'm having a heck of a time getting through to the comedy club owners to talk to them. I can talk to club managers in different cities, but it's tough to break through that barrier, but especially when they find out I'm a comedian because they think I'm looking for work.
Right, right, right,
That's
right.
the kiss of death. So no, I'm not looking for work. I'm looking to bring you audience.
you what?
Jeez, and
You're looking to.
save lives.
There you go.
So we started this program and it's been a year. It'll be a year in April, and very, very excited about the potential. I frankly think anybody who charges a cover should consider letting registered organ donors in for free and getting that conversation started and encouraging people become donors. Look, Tom, 18 people a day die because the organs they need aren't available.
Mm.
Now, there's so many people out there dying every day, but they're not recycling. Not- They're not recycling the most important thing we could possibly recycle, and that is the gift of life.
Yeah,
It is so emotional. It's just when you see a donor family listening with stethoscopes to the heart of their daughter who may have been killed by a drunk driver in a car crash at 18 years of age. They're listening to her heart beat in the chest of a 40-year-old man. It's so inspiring to them because what I realized is it's a balm for grief. These people
sure.
are grieving for their loved one, yet they're seeing life somehow continue. Life somehow goes on. That spark of energy, that beautiful, secret, magical spark of energy that we call life.
They
It
didn't die in
continues
vain.
on in another person. They're looking into the eyes of their son. They're looking in, they're hugging somebody who got a new shoulder because of their mother or something,
Right?
what, and so they go, oh, there's mom, or oh, there's my son, or oh, there's my daughter. It's I when I because I started this program, they honored me on a float in the Rose Parade this year. So I
Yeah,
got
tell us about
on a
that.
float in the Rose Parade in the rain for 5 hours,
Oh, that's
waving,
right. You had horrible weather, didn't you? Oh
waving
no.
at 800,000 people I'll never see again in the rest of my life. But it was
Oh.
really fun. It was an organ recital. The guy in front of me had gotten two lungs and a heart. I'd gotten a heart and a liver. The woman behind me gotten one lung and a kidney, and the the two women at the back of the boat that we were on this float. We were on a little outrigger boat. There's 14 of us, but two women. One of them was a farm wife from Iowa
Hmm.
who'd given a kidney to a stranger.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
She just said, "Look, I've got two kidneys. This person is dying. I'm a match. I'm going to give her my extra kidney because I can live on one kidney." And that is such an act of grace and compassion. It's just phenomenal. And she had also given part of her liver because a liver will regenerate.
Right.
You can actually donate part of your liver and the liver will regenerate. It grows like a lizard's tail. It doesn't look like
Dang.
a lizard's tail. It still looks like a liver,
Tastes like
but
chicken.
yeah. So it's
It's
wow.
amazing. It's
What
an
a,
amazing
it's
story.
amazing. It's amazing. And it was at the Rose Parade that I was able to witness those donor families and how their grief was eased, if it can
Mm.
be in any way,
Yeah.
or mollified, or the balm is the perfect word. It's a soothing balm for that sense of loss, because nothing's really lost. There's still life.
There's it's a powerful message, and I gotta believe that people would become donors if they were one exposed more to the story that you just told, and two, just given a little nudge. Because uh, I think there would be a significant number of people who, I just haven't really thought about it. Yeah,
Yeah, people don't think
why
about
why am I
it.
not a
You don't
donor?
think about it until it affects you. It's like many things in life.
You bet. You
You know,
bet.
you don't. It's but that's the wonder of life. That's what's so great about living is we learn all this
Hmm.
stuff disclosed to us through the process of living. Now I have a 57-year-old heart and a 77-year-old body, so I'm going to take advantage of both age groups. I'm going to have another midlife crisis, and I'm going to get a reverse mortgage
Okay. All right.
'cause I'm 77. Sure. And
Awesome.
you learn a lot. Everybody says laughter's the best medicine. I wrote a book when I was waiting for 3 months called The Tin Man Diaries, and it's a funny book. And I was waiting for 3 months for a heart, and there was nothing else to do but write. So I just wrote, and whoever said laughter's the best medicine has never had a morphine drip. I guarantee you that, because you can't beat it.
Oh my
You just
God.
can't. I don't care.
I have been on morphine before, and it wasn't too long. Like after the second day of being a zombie, I said, "Get me off this. I can't get
Yeah, I
off the
know.
couch." You were talking about the community of organ donors, and that reminds me of an observation that I made. I give blood. One, I am an
Oh,
organ donor,
thank you. Thank
and
you.
two, I also give blood. And the observation came to me one time when as I was sitting donating blood. Look at all these good people in here. I'm thinking that if I was in a crisis situation where I had maybe a thousand people in front of me, and I needed to choose 100 of them to go do something that required integrity and character and honesty, I would ask anybody who gives blood, raise your hand. Okay, all of you guys, step forward, and that'd be the same with organ donors because
Yes.
it's an act of love. It's an act of selflessness. It's an act of you're doing something that you're not going to get an immediate, necessarily tangible benefit from, but it's a beautiful thing to do that beautiful people have done, and we should be encouraging the other beautiful people that have just haven't followed through on that final step.
Yeah. So many of us labor under the misconception that we have control.
Yeah,
We don't have any control.
yeah.
No. I've always told my children, um, look, if you have control over something, do something about it. You can worry about it. You can fret all you want if you have control over it. If you don't have control over it, move on. Let it go. The more important things are the things you have control of. And I think it all boils down to people not knowing what death is, not knowing where we go when we die, wanting to have control even over death.
Right, right.
And it just is not going to happen. No matter where you think you're going or what you think you're going to be doing, you're not going to need your eyes, your heart, your lungs, your liver. This is just a vessel
Yeah.
that we've been given this blessed opportunity of living in. So yeah, I think that's what it boils down to, Tom. I think I've never really thought about it before in those terms, but it is a selfless act. But why would you be selfish about death?
Well, I
Why,
think I think the
of all
questions
things
the
to be
questions
selfish about.
yeah the questions you just asked though are ones that, especially when you get to be a little bit older, like I am, you do start to turn those questions around on your head. But
Yeah.
I was thinking as I was about our conversation, as preparing for our conversation, I was thinking that, cremation, and I don't have the research to back it up. It seems to me though that people are being cremated at a much higher rate than in the past.
Hmm.
Therefore, some people are answering those questions that you brought up about what happens to us afterwards and do we need our bodies and whatnot. So
It's
I'm
a
thinking,
burning issue. It really is.
yeah, I think we're
It's a hot topic.
I think that because of the cremation rate going up, that people want to say, well, hell, might as well do something with these organs before they get turned into ashes.
Yeah, I always say it's a little crass, but you're either going to bury it or burn it.
No, that's reality.
But you
Gallows
might as
humor. Yeah,
you might as well recycle before you
ab-
do. A lot of people say, well, I want to have an open casket funeral or whatever, and donors still have open casket funerals.
sure. They're
Absolutely.
just not donating their skin, perhaps. Or,
Yeah, well, the skin's taken from elsewhere. There's so many myths about donorship, that the people in the ambulance will let you die if they see that you're a donor.
oh,
Well, number one, paramedics don't look at your ID. They're there
right.
to save your life. Their job is to keep you alive till you get to a doctor. And the
Oh my God.
doctor's sworn promise is to do anything they can to keep you alive. So that's just a real misconception about it. Uh, we talk to ER nurses and doctors all the time and encourage them to take that 5 minutes out of their very, very busy day and make the call to say, we have a donor. And then what happens is the OPO in Southern California, it's called One Legacy. They're the OPO of Donate Life, which is the national organization. They step in and counselors are brought in to talk to the family, so forth. It's a very loving and caring ceremony. I was at the One Legacy headquarters the other day when a helicopter landed on the roof, and it was a young man who was brain dead. Two neurosurgeons, by the way, independent neurosurgeons, have to determine your brain death before
Hmm.
they can procure your organs for someone else. But this young man is about 19, motorcycle accident, and his mother and father and sisters were following the gurney into the hospital, and hundreds of people lined up on the edge of the hallway to welcome this donor into the OR. And that's called the Walk of Honor. And that is an
Wow.
incredibly emotional experience.
Wow.
I just
Wow.
it's just phenomenal. And it really speaks to the family of man. It speaks to we are all one. It speaks to all of that interconnection that we have as a species. I mean, I love my species. They break my heart every day. Don't get me wrong, but I love my species. I really do. And I just want to see us grow and improve and evolve. And I think this whole idea of taking advantage of a medical miracle, which is donorship, and bringing somehow and bringing the love into it that we have brought into it. The love from the donor families, the love from the recipients. I was in a room with 400 heart recipients a few months ago. We had a banquet.
Wow.
Some of them had received their heart as many as 30 years ago when they were young children.
Wow.
And that was an incredible experience because here you are with people who have gone through the same thing that you went through, the old zipper. Because I got a heart and liver, I got the zipper and then I call it a peace sign, but the doctors call it a Mercedes, you know.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, let's take this opportunity right here to hear from our sponsors, okay? Brief message coming up.
Around P-Town, around P-Town, it's got the news that you can use. Around P-Town. AroundPtown.com, it's got the scoop with all the poop.
Ben's Barbershop, it's a place I like to stop. Whether it's to get a fancy do or just buzz off my Ben's Barbershop. It's a place I like a lot, and you'd like it too if you did your do at Ben's Barbershop. That's Ben's Barbershop in Morrison, Illinois. Look 'em up on Facebook. Make an appointment. Tell 'em Jimmy I'm a doofus sent you.
But yes, um, people should know more about it. And that's why I'm trying to get the message out through these comedy clubs because I've always found that when I do, I've done commercials or written things um, from a sales point of view, that people do remember things that make them laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Remember funny commercials.
Yep.
They remember anything that's funny.
It's got to
And
touch them.
so if you can couch something as monumentous, monumental as donating your organs, and I'm not trying to make light of it, excuse me. I'm not trying to make light of it. It is a big decision and it's not to be entered into blithely. You just talk with your family. You make your own conscious decision about what you want to do with your body when you die. You're either I'm gonna donate it, then I'm gonna get cremated, or I'm gonna donate it, then I'm gonna do a compost thing. I'm gonna swallow an acorn and dive into a hole. I mean, whatever.
So let's assume that via this podcast, it would be nice. Somebody got a fire lit underneath them. Like, oh, yeah, I should become an organ donor. In addition to talking with their loved ones,
Mhm.
what's the step after that? How does one become an organ donor?
If you have a computer, you go on to a thing called your browser, and it's very difficult. You enter donate life into your browser. And if you enter donate life into your browser, you'll get all the information you need about becoming an organ donor.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I know in Illinois, and I assume it's similar in other states, that you are asked that question every time you renew your driver's license. And if you're like me, you've got a signature on the back that says, indeed, you are an organ donor.
That's right. That's right. And that's what you show at the door. And that's how you gain free admittance to the club. But the great thing about this program is that for each pink dot, as we call them out here, but whatever your donor signification is on your license, for every donor signification, you get 2 free tickets to the Improv. So you can take a date who might not be a donor, and maybe they'll become a donor. Honestly, when I go to these shows and I can sign up 2 or 3 people, I've saved 8 lives per person.
Awesome.
Save 2, you get 16 lives potentially saved. You got 24 lives potentially saved, 36
Mm.
lives potentially saved. However you want to add it up, it adds up.
What could
That's
be more
very important.
amazing than saving somebody's life and
I know.
to change it, to touch somebody? Well, this is a very tangible way of doing it.
And we all want to leave a legacy, man. We all want to be remembered for something.
Yeah.
Well, if you just, well, Mark Spiegel wrote a great poem. You can be a bump on a log as long as you be it so swell that everyone everywhere says, man, you sure do that log bump thing well.
Nobody bumps like you.
Nobody bumps like you. So if you're a bump on a log, it doesn't matter. You can look, my donor was a lifelong criminal.
Mm.
I was told he was killed in a motorcycle accident. And about a year ago, I got an email and the subject line said, from your donor's daughter. So
Wow.
a year after my transplant, I was allowed to write to the donor family and thank them, which I did. It went through a proxy agency, so I never knew who they were, but they knew who I was. So I get this email, says, hi, my name's Brianna. Due to the circumstances surrounding my father's death, it's taken me 8 years to write to you.
Wow.
But I have read your book. I've seen you on Facebook with your grandchildren. I'm so glad you're using my father's heart for good.
Oh gosh, did that bring a tear to your eye or what?
In caps, absolutely. So I wrote back to her. We've had several email exchanges, but through that, I found out his name was Thomas William Miller. She had not spoken to him in about 8 years,
Hmm.
and uh, the whole family was estranged from him.
Yeah.
He had done time for grand theft auto.
Hmm.
He had done time for home invasion. He had been in rehab, and he wasn't killed in a motorcycle accident. I
Oh.
had this empathy for this poor guy that went out on a motorcycle and got creamed by some idiot driving a car. No, not the case. He was shot with his buddy execution style by a Mexican cartel at a pot farm in Northern California.
Damn. Wow, what a story.
So here
Wow.
he was, through whatever unfortunate situation he might have had in his life. He chose
Yeah.
crime,
Yeah.
yet he also chose the gift of life.
That is fascinating. Not
So I've got the heart of an outlaw for 8 years now. I've only stolen 3 cars. I think I'm doing pretty well.
you're turning a corner.
I'm a Capricorn. I have a lot of self-control. What can I tell you?
God, not the typical resume I think you're gonna find for most organ donors. That's a great story. That is awesome. And I can tell you, this program works. After you and I had our conversation, I said, well, I'm going to find out whether this works or not. And I went on the computer with the information that we got to cover to find
Yeah.
a comedy club that would do just that. And sure enough, Milwaukee was the closest place to be. That's going to be about a 4 or 5 hour drive for me. So my wife and I decided we'd make a weekend out of it. We had enough points stored up from
Great.
our checking account. We had a
Great.
free hotel room, and Milwaukee said, "No, I'm from out of state. Are you going to honor my donor card from Illinois?" She said, "Absolutely. All you got to do is show it."
Fabulous.
Yeah,
Fabulous.
all you got to do is show it at the ticket window. We'll be glad to have you. I'm like, okay, that's fantastic. So it
Isn't
works.
that great?
It works.
Yeah, I saw Rosebud Baker last week in a donor show at the Irvine Improv. She's fantastic. Are you a fan of hers?
I don't know her. No.
I'm a big fan. Rosebud Baker. She's new on the scene.
Awesome. I'll look
You'd
for
like
her.
her. You'd like her.
I'm thinking people that go on vacation, sometimes you're wondering, well, okay, I'm on vacation. I'm in this city I'm not maybe familiar with. There's a good chance that there might be a comedy shop that's going to be available to them if they're organ donors. They can make that part of their planning ahead of time.
That's right. We just added Brooklyn. We added a improv in Brooklyn. We have Denver, Chicago,
Awesome.
Huntsville, Alabama, San Jose, California, um,
So it's all across the country.
all across the country. Yep.
That is
Right.
fantastic.
And you just go to improv.com/donors. Just
Improv.
.com/donors.
Not that hard. And I'll make sure I put that in the program notes too, listeners, so
Please
that
do.
you can follow that. It works. You're going to see free professional comedy. If you like stand-up comedy, you want to see it free, you want to see it live, they're
Ain't
making it
bad.
happen. Making it
Ain't
happen.
bad. And you want to do it for a good cause.
You betcha. That is
Yeah.
awesome. What a great idea. How do
Thanks.
you, let me ask you this. You've been at this for a while now, and it's growing, and you're going to try and make
It
it even bigger.
took
Do
me
you have
3 years to start it. Tom, it took me 3 years to get it started.
okay.
And it's been rolling for a year now nationally.
It's a good thing that Grand Theft Auto guy's heart is keeping you going. I like
That's
it.
right. That's right.
So, is there anything you could point to? I know you've had some individual successes that you are aware of, but do you get a sense that there's been an uptick in donor
It's
registration?
hard. It's a hard metric to get. It really is. We've had uh, people getting free tickets to the clubs.
All right.
Whether they're signing up for the donors or not, I don't know. But
Well, that
uh,
meets your goal of
that's we're in our first year. We're going to try to get some metrics in the second year, find out how we're doing.
fantastic. Well, it's certainly if you know that people are filling those seats in the audience, it's meeting all those objectives you talked about of bringing. Uh, Letting people know what's going on and being able to
Yep,
thank them, filling an audience out so that the audience and the comedian both benefit from. So all those objectives are certainly being met. That's
absolutely.
fantastic.
Thank you for your promise of life. You know, really, there's nothing to stop music venues, anybody who charges a cover.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to see donor night at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
Why not? There's some good publicity there.
You
And
betcha.
and with the news cycle, what it is these days, it's really hard to get any humanitarian message out there at all. It's
Yeah.
almost impossible to break through that media now because, the world's collapsing thanks to one man and his minions.
Yeah. Yeah. We need some good news. That's for sure.
Yep.
Hey, let me ask you this. You were talking about recycling organs. Has it ever been done where an organ has been recycled twice? Like, for example, if you
Oh yeah.
were,
Mhm.
so that's not that unusual, huh? That is, wow.
Not at all. I'm a donor. They can have my liver and my heart when I'm gone.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
And there'd be people who'd be glad to have it. That is wild. That is wild. Are you on any type of anti-rejection drugs now? Or,
Well, they told me before when I was waiting for my heart and liver, they told me that really their biggest fear with organ donorship is rejection.
right?
And I explained to them very simply, I have been an actor all my life and I live for rejection. That's all I've really
Oh,
known.
God. Yeah.
That's all
Uh,
I've really known all my life is rejection.
Well, I'm glad your body hasn't rejected your
Yeah.
heart and your liver. And hope you have
I looked at my pills this morning. It was funny. I have about 9 of them that I take in the morning, and they're for all kinds of different things. But one of them is for my immune system, to suppress my immune system. So I
okay.
have a suppressed immune system, and I can, catch stuff pretty easily now.
Yeah.
Everything,
Well, Jamie,
everything
what
but a break.
what else should we hit on here before we bring this interview to a
Well,
close?
let's see. We can talk about the fact that my wife, Sarah Kawahara, now has 20 ice shows on 15 different Royal Caribbean ships
Wow.
that she has choreographed and directed.
I'll bet you were watching some ice skating during the Olympics
Oh
recently.
boy. Well, uh, my wife choreographed Scott Hamilton's career and Dorothy Hamill and Ty and Randy and Peggy Fleming and Michelle
Wow.
Kwan and Oksana Bayul and Surya Bonali and all
You
those.
name dropper, you.
Yeah, I know. That's tacky dropping names. You know who told me that? Paul McCartney. Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. Jimmy Taylor was standing right next to him when he said it too.
Oh,
Um,
God.
But anyway, watching skating with her is like, so one of the skaters will do a jump and I go, oh, that was great. And my wife, of course, says, no, no, she caught her toe loop on the, you know, no, she didn't
Of
bring
course.
her hip around. Oh, it was terrible. Oh, she's going to lose points for that jump. And I'm
Oh,
sitting there
Lordy.
thinking, shit, that was really great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She sees it much differently than you and I would, that's
Much
for sure.
differently. Yeah.
That is
So,
awesome.
yeah, so she did that. And my grandson Sonny turned 1 yesterday. And
Awesome.
my daughter Haley has a movie coming out June 19th called Girls Like Girls, produced by Mark Platt, Focus Feature Universal Studios.
Awesome.
She's excited about that. Her second book, Where There's Room for Us, made the New York Times bestseller list, and just like her first book did. And
Wow.
then I'm just trying to save lives.
Little old me just sitting back here saving
Just,
lives.
just trying to save lives.
That is
That's all I got
awesome.
to do with my day.
All kinds of successes going on here, and we certainly wish you even further success as you continue developing this program, getting people
Thanks.
to donate their organs and ultimately
Thanks.
save lives. I have a cadaver in this shoulder. Now you can see it. In that shoulder right there, I've got a
I thought
cadaver.
I recognized him.
Yeah. Somebody told me that when I got that, I told them, yeah, I'm going to get a cadaver ligament in here. Well, let's hope it was a NFL quarterback and maybe you'll be able to throw a football a couple hundred yards. No,
Do me a favor, call it a donor ligament.
donor ligament. Okay.
That's much more palatable, I think, than
Yes. Yes.
cadaver ligament. Yeah, it's
Why did it?
really,
Yeah.
you get images of grave robbers when you see that.
Okay. Very good. Well, I've really enjoyed this conversation and
Likewise.
and very much a fan of what you're doing and wish you the best of luck as you continue down this
Thank
worthwhile
you.
journey.
Any advice anybody out there can give me, any contacts and comedy clubs or places that charge covers, please bring them on.
Very good. And
Bring it in.
listeners, think about of being selfless. Think about the most gracious thing that you could do and your ability to change so many lives. And Jamie talked about a huge
Mhm.
circle of people that are affected, not just the person giving and the person receiving, but that whole family structure around both people is flat
It's
out amazing.
it's wonderful.
And the
It's
fact that
really
you've been alive so long now that you've touched your children's lives and you're touching your grandchildren's lives and continuing to touch people, the whole issue of organ donorship. That's awesome.
let's just enrich each other in every which way, shall we?
Let's do.
Let's do.
All right. Until we talk again, my friend, be well.
Thank you. Thanks,
All
Tom.
right. Thank
Take
you,
care.
sir.
Okay, Boomer.
I don't have anything else to add. Go to improv.com/donors. If you don't want the free tickets to see professional comedy, well, then just go to the Secretary of State website and give the gift of life. Save up to 8 lives through organ donation and improve or heal the lives of more than 75 others through tissue donation. Do it today before you forget.
Shut up. And kids, don't forget to be checking in with AroundPtown.com. It's got all the news that you can use. Stay hip, stay classy with AroundPtown.com. And for you fellas that want that hip and classy look, well, then you're going to want to get your butt to Ben's Barbershop chair. That's right, Ben's Barbershop. Look him up on Facebook.com. He's in Fulton. You make an appointment, you're going to love it. If you enjoyed listening to Boomer here, he'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to his podcast so you'd get notifications of when the next episode's coming up. Maybe leave a rating on a review. But yeah, go ahead and subscribe. That helps the podcast grow, and that makes the little fella feel so much better. And if you have any feedback for him, go ahead and contact him at ttaudioworks@gmail.com. Again, that's ttaudioworks@gmail.com. Okay, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.